Hi everyone. So there are many different ways that you might have come into this course. You might have just like accidentally found the website, or you might have had it recommended to your friend, or you might have had it recommended from a teacher at the university, and you could actually be part of one of the official Kujenga activities. So one of the ways that we teach Kujenga, over and above it just being available as a web page, is that we have a 6 week course starting once a year where a teacher helps you go step by step locally through the material. Now, I say the teacher helps you. The important part here is there is a lot of responsibility on yourself as an individual when you do that learning. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go step by step how you can use the course material as part of that learning experience. You might be at a university in Rwanda, Ethiopia, Kenya, Uganda, South Africa, Nigeria, one of the places that we have the local Kujenga activities. And then I want to explain how you can use that material together with that learning experience to get the most out of it. If you're not part of a registered class, I think this will also give you an idea about the best way to self-study this material, because you can also set up a study group with your friends. You can find a teacher, you can tell them about it, say that you want to work on this, and ask them if they would be available just to give you some feedback. There's many, many ways of doing it, but I'll just outline it in the way that we see it as a 6 week program here, which you can then adopt to your own study needs. There are essentially 4 steps to the way that you should use this material. I'll tell you them now, and then I'll go through them each in more detail. So the first thing you should do is you should read through the material, and you can do that online. The second one is you should try it yourself. There's Python notebooks for every part of this course. You should work on it yourself. The third one is you should go to class and get feedback and talk to the tutor from each of the classes. And the fourth one is that you should send in exercises. And that's basically part of a weekly cycle. What I'll do is I will open up and show you the web pages so you can get a feeling for this. So here is the web pages. If I go to the first web page, this is the introductory page where you're already at, probably if you're watching this video. And then you'll see that we've broken the course down, 6 week course. We've broken the course down into 4 modules. Are healthier people happier people? Can we predict a disease outbreak? Are Ethiopian or Kenya runners the fastest? And how did Google make billions of dollars? So they're very applied ideas. And the idea is that in each case, we take a machine learning method, a mathematical method, and you learn that method through a very applied, practical example, something which actually you can relate to in your own lives. So we all know about corona and disease outbreaks. We all know about malaria and spread of disease. We all know about well, we're all interested in being happy and healthy. So that's a very good starting point. And then, we have a sport example here, Ethiopian or Kenya runners, which of them are fastest? And then the other thing is the algorithm underlying Google, which made them billions of dollars in the end, is actually a reasonably simple piece of mathematics that you'll learn in this part of the course. Then once we've done the individual parts of it, then there's a final project which you have to complete, and that's part of the kind of overall evaluation of the course, where you take what you've learned and you use it in some form of final project. Okay, so how does that work on a weekly basis? Well, as I said, 4 steps. Now, step one is that you read yourself. And this is why we have it as an easy to access website. You can sit there. You don't even need a computer to do it. You can sit on your phone in the evening, and you can just relax. Well, not relax too much. You still need to pay some attention, but you can watch the videos through one by one. There was a video of me first, then you can watch the video of Blessing going through the mathematics behind this, and you can read through the text at the same time. And so we made it into this web page approach so that you don't really have to have a laptop. You can just sit and read through it. So step one, you can read through, and you don't need to do everything the first time. You can actually read through the entire document all the way down, all of the sessions that you want to understand and you want to use, you can go through these one at a time. So that's stage one, reading through. Now, when you read through, don't be scared if you don't understand everything straight away. The idea here is for you to get a feeling for what you do and what you don't understand, what you maybe need as background. Then you can click on some of the links that are available. You can go into them. You can sort of work through this material. You don't need to see it like as a textbook either. Click around, take a concept, maybe copy it into Google, start to search around that and try to get a feeling and an understanding of the material before you actually start getting working. Okay, and then step two, there is nothing more important than doing things yourself. Okay, and so the way we've constructed the course is we've done it so that once you've read through and you've got some idea of what you're going to do, you press this button here and you can download it as a notebook. You can also download the Python source code. People like to work with Python in various different ways. I'm going to show you how to use a notebook in Google Colab. That's the focus that I'm going to do, but there are many other ways of using a notebook. Okay, so you click on that and it starts to download. I've downloaded it 4 times, so it's downloaded here. And then, as I say, many different ways to work with it, but the one you might want to start with is Google Colab. So here is Google Colab. You just go into colab.research.google.com. That allows you to load in a notebook. And what you then do is you do File, and you can upload a notebook, for example. And so you go into your drive, you browse in your drive, and you upload the notebook that you've just downloaded from the Kujenga website. So you've downloaded it from here, and now you upload it into Google Colab. You're also going to need to have some of the data files for it. So what I've actually done is I've created on my drive, I've created not only the Google Colab, but I've also put in the data that I need into that drive. So it's in the correct place. So that's Google Colab. Here is my loading in of that data. Now, really important here is that this downloaded notebook is actually exactly the same as the web page. So when it's loaded into the website, it displays that it was a web page. You can see the video here, you can see the text here. And when you go into here, well, you see, well, here's actually the link to the YouTube video, and here is the text that's associated with it. So what we have here is we have the same information in a web page, which you've read through, stage one, and as a Python notebook, which you can go through step by step, stage two. And in a later video, I'm going to go through actually using this Python notebook. But for now, we just go down and I can just run this thing. Importantly, I've changed the directory to point towards the right thing. So when you're in Colab, I've done that. So if you're working on your own computer, you'll have to set it up that way. But you've got to find some way of telling Colab or whatever tool you're working in where the file is. And remember, I put it into here, the happiness data here, and then I could load it in here. So that's where I'm working from. So that's step two, and that's important that you start to go through this content. You can run it. You can see here I've loaded in the data. You can create a plot. Here I've plotted the different things. So this is exactly the stuff that we've seen in that you'll see in the video and on the web page. But then the thing is, it now becomes interactive. So here, in fact, I've already changed it. In the original text, it was m was equal to 1/12. We got that line. And I can change the slope of the line. And that's the first exercise for you to do, is change the slope of the line, update it, and then rerun it. So this is a nice way of experimenting and working within the notebook to understand what's going on. Okay, so that's step two. You've gone through all the material. Now, step three is to go to class. So if you're part of one of the local hybrid courses we're running, then there'll be a class time booked for you once a week. It's important you get to that class and it's also important you think about how that class is going to be structured. Now, the class is not structured in a way that there's someone like me standing on a board going through all of the problems or something like that. The class is structured on the idea that you've been through steps one and steps two. We're now on step three, and you have already worked with the material and you have questions. And so the tutor at that class, what she's there to do is to help you with the questions that you might have about this material. And you're also there to support each other. So you can ask questions to your friends. It's more of an interactive group. There might be a short introduction by the tutor when she starts the class, but after that, you need to work in groups, you need to understand things together, and you need to make progress with the work that you're doing and make sure that you know everything that is going on. So that's what the interactive tutorial is, or the tutorial where you come together is. Now, if you don't have access to that type of facility, then set up a group with your friends. Meet once a week. You can meet online if you want to, or you can meet in person. Set up a group where you can actually go through this material together. It's very important to learn these things collectively and share your ideas. If you're struggling with the material, then it's good to have somebody to help you understand it. But even if you're good at the material and you think that you've understood it, it's always a good thing to have and explain to somebody else how the material works because it helps your own understanding. So it's very important to collectively work together with this material. Okay, so steps one, step two, step three, and step four. I have to remind myself what step four is. Yes, step four is to send in the exercise. So once you've done all the material, then at the end of each of the sections, I'll go back to that. At the end of each of the sections, there is a exercise to do. Now, it's not a difficult exercise. It's relatively straightforward. What we want to do is just test that you've understood how it's working and you can now do it yourself. So at the end of this, we say like, could you look at some other predictors of happiness, have a look at some of these other variables and see their relationship to happiness, and then write a short report. And I also want you to think about like, not just like doing the data fitting, but also give an argument about whether things are correlated or caused in this data. So think about the meaning of the data at the same point. So that is my 4 steps to successfully doing this course. Read through the material, do it yourself, come to class with questions, and send in the exercise using the link provided. Now remember, the tutors are there, they're there to support you. You need to support each other, and you need to take individual responsibility for your own work. So this is very much a self-guided class where you get some external input from the tutor and you work through the material at your own pace, but also trying to keep this pace of the course. And that, I think, is everything I wanted to say about how you can work on the course. I'm really looking forward to seeing people getting going and working through this material. And with that, I can say good luck.